Talk Radio.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. It seems like we never even left from last night. Welcome to second round coverage of the 2014 NFL Draft. I am the game that is the sheriff. We're here in Hashtag Studios. Like I said, tonight we're going to cover the second round of the 2014 NFL Draft right here at Hashtag Sports, sponsored by BuckBuck.com. Buck.
Buck.
All right, and you know, just to jump right into it, because the and by the way, if you listened last night, you got the first round coverage. We want to thank all the viewers that decided to just tune in to us and listen to us, you know, just go off.
We had a lot of people tune in yesterday.
It was fun.
Great.
In a side note, it was actually kind of surprising because, you know, Barry Sanders was tuning in a few times, and he was kind of talking to us, and it was kind of nice. So I'm going to thank Barry for that. But a lot of moves being made and a lot of news coming out today, especially out of Cleveland camp. Just recently, before we just got on the air, Josh Gordon was reported in saying that, or not saying, but substance abuse.
Weed,
something, I don't know. You know, he's got codeine and cough syrup or something like that.
Scissor.
But it's a trend with him. So right out of the gate, I want to ask you, Sheriff, where do you think the Browns end up going now?
Well, first, I think you have to ask the question, Gordon, was he celebrating or was he self-medicating?
You know what?
After the Johnny Manziel pick, what was he doing?
I can't fault him. I think that if he clearly says that, you know what, I was watching the draft, and when pick 22 came in, I hit the pipe.
Yeah.
I think that may have been something there tied in. But, yeah, just going over it, though. I mean, Johnny Manziel gets picked at number 22. The Browns did, I think, one of the smartest things they could have did last night. They traded, and they ended up getting a first-round pick next year. They ended up getting a stellar corner in that division. And now, what do you do later in the draft? You trade back up into from 26 to 22 to pick up Johnny Manziel?
Would they give up a fifth-rounder to do that?
They gave up, I think it might have been a fifth rounder.
That's it.
Stats on that.
Right, a fifth rounder.
That's all they gave up this year?
I think so.
Fifth rounder? Okay.
Yeah, I think they just gave up a fifth rounder. Overall, the Cleveland Browns, I think, had the best, and I'm not talking about specifically the players that they drafted, but as far as managing the draft, the best draft that I've seen in a long time. I mean, they did a New England Patriot style. They got a bunch of picks. They were able to get the players that they wanted, and they got them. They were value picks. Johnny Manziel was, I mean, obviously really high on their board. To me, any quarterback that you pick in this draft, whether it's in the first round, second round, fifth round, is a 50-50 shot, whether or not they're going to be good in the NFL. So picking up a guy that is going to bring people to the stadium, fill in those seats. The guy sells tickets. What are you gonna say? He's electrifying, and to me, the only reason he is because he's rich. That's it. If he was a poor kid, nobody would care. You know, poor kid. A lot of poor 21-year-olds drink and party, and you know, if he wasn't rich, they wouldn't give a crap about him.
I just think that it's unfortunate that he is he's such a polarizing figure.
Yeah.
And you know, I liken him to Tebow. I've said that many times. I think he's a better version of Tim Tebow.
A lot better.
But
I liken him to Doug Flutie when he was with the Buffalo Bills.
You're not going to change my mind by this point. It's just,
I was a big Doug Flutie fan.
Hold on. You're just comparing height and Heisman's, right? I'm
comparing height, Heisman, and magic. Doug Flutie had magic. He did. Whatever you want to say about him, he had magic. The guy threw a Hail Mary.
You could throw one tomorrow. What's the difference?
Won a game against.
Does that mean you get drafted by the Browns?
I mean, we all know the Boston College game and against the Hurricanes and what he did there. So
yeah, and for those of you that are, if you are or you're not Cleveland fans, past 22nd picks. The 22nd pick.
Brady Quinn.
And Whedon. Found out today.
That's
but,
right.
You know,
2007 and 11, right?
When we covered Manziel in our pre-draft, a lot of our pre-draft shows, we were talking about him likened to Colt McCoy or like a Brady Quinn, just a very smaller type quarterback that
Colt didn't have the magic though. He
had the speed and he was very small. But then again, the guy's still in the league, so he must be doing something right.
As a backup.
Yeah, but I don't see Manziel as that starter for you. I really don't.
There's a lot of guys like Colt McCoy, journeymen that go through the NFL as backups, and then they have good careers that way. And that's a spot that needs to be filled. There's, there's a bunch of guys who've done that. And as a matter of fact, Doug Flutie was one of those guys, right?
Well,
he was the journeyman.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick is one of those guys. He goes up and he starts a few games, and he's back up, and then he starts a few games, and he's a journeyman. He goes from team to team, filling in an empty
just
space.
As we talk about different types of quarterbacks on the field, because you're going to say Manning is different than Breeze, or Brady is different than Rodgers, or Rodgers is different than Kaepernick. Yeah. There's different sets of these guys. The only way Fitzpatrick has stayed in the league so far is because he's a very intelligent quarterback. He knows everything about the offense, where the ball needs to go. He just can't get it there.
His accuracy, can't do it. Right. It's accuracy and arm strength.
Like, I need to throw that 15-yard out, but I can't get it there.
I think he'll be a brilliant coach. I think he'll be a great coach.
If he decides to. I mean, the guy, he's got an economics degree from Harvard, so I don't think coaching is really a necessity for him.
No.
But, it could be something he goes into. And
very likable guy. I'm sure he'll be okay.
But, I mean, in all seriousness now, we're talking about Josh Gordon. Let's transfer over to another wide receiver hits very close to home. You were wearing the jersey yesterday.
Yeah.
Stevie Johnson is now a San Francisco 49er for a 2015 fourth-round conditional pick, and it could turn into a third-round pick. So basically, a lot of people are starting to say that, that fourth pick, they got their fourth pick back from Cleveland. But a lot of people need to realize the way the conditional picks work, the Bills have a chance to get a conditional third-round pick depending on what happens with Jarius Byrd this year, because there's not an exact science, and it's not released by the NFL of how conditional picks really work. There's just a lot of
some of them
theories,
are on production.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you end up losing a player that was a starter for you and a significant contributor, then you end up getting those conditional picks. The Buffalo Bills didn't get any this year. They may get some next year. So initially, when they made that trade for Sammy Watkins, they were thinking that in the back of their minds, listen, we're going to get this pick back next year anyway. So essentially all they're trading is next year's first-round pick.
That's right.
So,
and is that a good pick? I mean, does that make it a better trade? The Sammy Watkins trade, does it make it better?
Anything from a team that hasn't made the playoffs since 1999, a first-rounder is gold. It was gold to the Bills. It's gold to anybody else. Now, if you're talking about the 49ers, you're talking about the Packers, talking about really good teams at first-round pick.
High 20s.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. But if you're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars, Oakland, and I really think
RG3, Washington, right. Right.
They forced Oakland's hand, the Bills did, because they thought Watkins was going to Oakland. Oakland's trend
and
doing
he would
that.
have.
Yeah, and he would have. So we ended up getting Watkins, and we mentioned it last night on the show. I said, listen, I gave Stevie a year, but apparently the Bills didn't think that way. They said, listen, all right, Stevie, you're done.
I'm going to miss him. He is the heart and soul of the Buffalo Bills offense for sure. He's a leader. I think him and EJ were just starting to get some chemistry together. The Bills are going to miss him. Just from a leadership standpoint.
Entertainment.
And entertainment. The guy's fun. He really is. Good luck to you, Stevie. We're going to miss you here, bud. That being said, it's a smart move. The Bills are essentially making a business move here, and it's a good one.
Yes, and we'll go more into depth into that a little bit later, but we got about a minute 10 for Houston on the clock now with the 33rd pick starting off the second round. Where do you think Houston goes?
Great question. I like the Derek Carr pick here. I know, like I said, I was talking yesterday or the day before talking about the public relations manager of Derek Carr and how his stock has shot up. I mean, he went from third, fourth rounder to people were talking about him being the third or second highest rated quarterback, depending on where you put him in front or behind Johnny Manziel. Are they picking here?
Well, they said the pick is in currently. We haven't seen anyone walk up to the podium yet. So
okay.
We'll keep an eye on that.
I think Derek Carr is a smart move. I think you need a quarterback. You got to it would be such irony, 10 years ago they picked up his brother,
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool, I think. It'd be a great storyline. Redemption for the family to come in. Now, the first Carr didn't have an offensive line in front of him. And I think that's what really got his career going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, he was sacked. Oh God, how many times?
He was the most sacked quarterback. Yeah. And that ruins. You play quarterback. That ruins a quarterback's psyche.
It does. I mean, you start to hear footsteps here and there.
Right. Look at Lossman and his happy feet, right? The guy couldn't stay in the pocket longer than 2 seconds before he was bumping into his offensive lineman.
I don't know. I think the whole thing with Lossman is I don't think he really was, the best guy.
I think the pick's in.
All right. We'll check it out.
To announce the Houston Texans selection, please welcome from San Diego State University, a second-round pick by the Texans in the 2002 draft, offensive guard Chester Pitts.
Hey, I am having a ball. Yes, I am. But the commissioner said Chester don't have too much fun, and I promised him I wouldn't. So let's get down to business. With the 33rd pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Xavier Su'a-Filo, UCLA.
Great pick.
Fellow lineman. I love it.
Yeah, that's a value pick.
Where's the closer?
He should be here right now.
Su'a-Filo.
This is one of his favorite offensive linemen, and this is a value pick here. This guy's first-round talent, right? I mean, everybody was predicting. This is kind of last year's Cordy Glenn.
Well, at the guard position.
At the guard position. Right.
But stellar pick. They knew they were going with this guy. I mean, I'm sure O'Brien entertained some offers for trading up with some teams.
Sure. Yeah.
Especially with Washington now on the clock with their first pick of the 2014 draft. So
because Su'a-Filo would have went down maybe even 10 spots had they not picked him up at that round. Because everybody else who's coming next, Washington didn't have a first round pick. They're gonna pick up more of actually, let's talk about where they're going to go.
Honestly, I was trying to pick my brain of where they could go. They've obviously made some offseason moves for the offense. You think that maybe they try to bolster some more things with that offense.
Maybe a running back, the first running back.
Oh no, you got Nora, you got Alfred there.
Yeah,
you got the
right. So line. I mean, where do they go? They got a lot of needs.
Well, Fletcher left a void there. He's done.
Yeah,
he's done.
So linebacker.
So you could, in that division, it's not really as pass happy as a lot of the other divisions. So you could probably get away. I mean, with the exception of the Eagles last year, but everyone's going to figure them out this year. I'd go with a linebacker. I'd go a linebacker here. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on a specific. Whoa. Well, I guess Dallas. Dallas just got
traded
into that
up
spot. Apparently, yeah. We're looking at the.
They got to be going linebacker then, right? Dallas needs. I mean, they have so many.
They need
needs.
everything.
They need everything.
That's the problem with Dallas. I mean, they need everything. Mm-hmm. Got about 2:30 left on the clock.
Does Dallas pick? I mean, you've got Miles Austin, who's pretty much lost his step. He's done, right?
He's done. You can go.
Winton's at the end of his career.
Well, here we go.
They go receiver here.
They got the 33rd pick, and they gave up their second round and their third round this year. So Redskins doing a smart move, trying to pick up an extra pick this year.
Right.
I don't fault them for that at all. I mean, I think that'd be a good way to go. I would have liked to see them try to trade back into the first round from yesterday, but probably they didn't have enough bullets in the gun to do that. But this is great to pick up another third rounder.
Yeah, it is. It's a good move, and they don't move that far back. And I'm sure with the position, this has got to give you insight to what kind of player that they're looking for as far as position, and they didn't see any value there at that pick. So, now you say, okay, now who do they pick up? Maybe it's an offensive lineman. RG3 can use the protection.
He definitely can use a lot of protection back there.
Yeah,
I think they go defense though. I think with the second round pick they go defense, and then they can try to do something with that offensive line in the third round.
So obviously Dallas wanted somebody. Now who's next after Dallas? You've got Jacksonville, right?
You got the Browns, the Raiders, and the Falcons, the Bucks, the Jags, and the Seahawks, which they acquired from the Vikings for trading up for Teddy Bridgewater yesterday.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And then the Bills will be at 41. A pick that the Bills have been at quite a bit.
Yeah,
I guess what in the last how many years they were mentioning it that they've had like 5 picks or something. Exactly at 41. So we'll see where they go. Do you think they go wide receiver here?
Well, here's the thing. You've got Browns will probably go wide receiver. Raiders will probably go wide receiver. Falcons can go wide receiver. Jags can go wide receiver. These are all teams, and the Seahawks can go wide receiver. These are all teams. Now, there's at least 4 or 5 wide receivers left on the board that are worth a pick this high. Yeah. So maybe the Cowboys were looking for a receiver, and that's why they traded.
Yeah. So you got Lee, you got Matthews.
Yep.
You got
Latimer. What's his name? Cody Latimer, right?
Yeah.
And Robinson.
Yeah. What I like there, you're talking about from Penn State, right? Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still like Jeff Janis. I know he's a name you probably won't hear today.
Actually, you know what? I've heard Bill Polian talk about Janis.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah. And to me, Polian's one of the best in terms of scouting. He's a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he talked about Janis and said that is a pick that nobody's looking at that may go in the 4th or even 5th round.
I think he's going to shock some people.
But he's saying that if someone were to take a shot on him, he'd be worth a high risk, high reward kind of guy.
You mean low risk, high reward?
I'm saying at the second or third round.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, so based on his potential and what he's seen out of this kid, he thinks that maybe there is somebody that might take a chance on him in the second or third rounds. But the wide receiver position is very deep. Here's Dallas.
All right.
The commissioner walking across the stage. We'll see what the Dallas Cowboys have done. They're booing because it's New York and it's Dallas.
The Washington Redskins have traded the 34th pick to the Dallas Cowboys. To announce the Dallas Cowboys selection, please welcome from Texas A&M, a 3rd-round pick of the Cowboys in 1999, linebacker Dat Nguyen.
With the 34th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select DeMarcus Lawrence, defensive end, Boise State.
Well, yeah, that was another need that they had. They had to fill up with the other DeMarcus going to Denver.
Yeah.
So, all right. I guess the run-on wide receivers wasn't what we were predicting.
That to me is odd. Is DeMarcus Lawrence rated that high? I mean, I guess he is. I mean,
well, when you start to get into the second round, you start to get into these guys that you don't really hear much about.
Right.
So everyone likes to call them sleepers. I wouldn't call the second pick in the second round a sleeper. Although not a lot of news has been made about him. People like to always make news about the top 10. As we even did, we're guilty of it ourselves. So you look at this guy. I'll try to get the numbers on him really quick. But you do like the pickup of going D-end here?
What's the number here to call? I got a few guys want to call in. What number do I give them?
Oh, if you want to give us a call, it's 917-889-8987. One more time, if you want to give us a call, 917-889-8987. If you have a comment on the broadcast, give us your insight.
Yeah. I got a bunch of good friends that we talk football all year long. They'd make great guests on this show. Maybe one of them will call in today and give us a chat.
Out of Boise State, redshirt junior, 6'3", 245, ran a 4.8. Didn't really do much at the combine. He did do an impressive 20 on the bench.
Yeah, he did.
But at Boise State, you don't hear much about Boise State's defense. I mean, what really do you hear about them? But obviously, the Dallas Cowboys, there was a need that they had, so they traded up, and they ended up getting their defensive end. Oh, we have a caller in the queue, 998. Would you state your name and your complaint?
There's no complaints. It's Coach Nick. What's up, Johnny and Mario?
Hey, how you doing,
Hey,
Coach?
Nicky, how you doing, bud?
Everything's good. I'm listening to you guys, and if you can check Johnny's text message, I said defense all day.
Yep, you
So
did.
if you guys need a little bit of some outside input, I would love to help. 'Cause it sounds like you guys need help.
All right, I will. Well, do me a favor then. I need a little bit of help. What are next week's Powerball numbers? Because that's where I need help. If you want to give me some foreshadowing, I'll take those if you got
Dig
them.
on me all you want. You just go to the sheriff and say the deputy dog coach over here said defense all day, and they took defense.
Hey,
on, guys.
Dep,
I'm
you
doing full
have
there.
been saying that, and I agree with you. But there's so many holes in that defense. You're not going to fill it with one draft. I don't even think you can fill it with two drafts. To me, the move here should have been, at least for Dallas, should have been offense. That defense is so bad. You're going to have to win games 48-45 all year long. Okay, so you pick up a receiver here because receivers should be coming off the board very soon, and if not receiver, you got Jason Witten. He's going to be gone soon. Maybe you pick up a tight end. Get Tony Romo off of his back. So maybe you pick up a lineman. Nick Martin, what do you think about that?
Sheriff, I think you're understanding what is the Dallas needs, but if you don't start filling your holes, your dam's gonna crash. They're okay on offense. I'm gonna go with they need defense heavy. They lost DeMarcus Ware, so that's a big plug-in. So they just picked up this kid right here, and then the Browns are up. So let's move on to the Browns. Now, you guys think receiver? What do you think?
You have to,
Mario.
You have to.
Well, I mean, if
receiver, you guys know this is the second round, right?
Just to backtrack a little bit, there's about 5 receivers on the board, but why wouldn't the Cowboys go with Larry Webster? You got a guy
from
6'6", 249, ran a 4.58 DN. If that was such a glaring need, why didn't you go after that guy?
I agree. I don't know why they went after this other kid that that's between Dallas and their staff, but obviously they must have liked the guy.
Yeah.
And that's why they went with this other kid. So now I'm not disagreeing with if they don't pick the next 2 or 3 rounds defense, I don't know. I mean, a tight end, Witten, that guy's been a staple for them for a while. I don't see him going anywhere. And I think right now the Browns are going to pick up. They're good at. I don't know if they're going to go receiver, guys. It's the second round. I mean,
with the recent news
of
Josh Gordon, it's kind of tough.
And they got Cameron Jordan at the tight end. So yeah. I mean, are they going to go? I mean, don't be surprised they take a. I know it sounds crazy. Where's the first running back going to go? Trey Mason from Auburn. I mean, there's some guys out there.
Well, they picked up Ben Tate in the offseason, so that seems to be where their direction is right now. With the running game, in this report coming out today that Gordon may be suspended for the season with his past history. So currently, all you have is Ben Tate.
Yeah.
Are you kidding right now?
Gordon's gone for the year, buddy.
Well, then he was just on Dan Lebitard this afternoon, so I didn't hear anything about that. Wow, that's breaking news.
All right, we'll come back to the running back pick, but the pick is in for Cleveland. Let's check out.
To announce the Cleveland Browns selection, please welcome from the University of Texas, the 13th overall pick of the 1989 draft by the Browns, Eric Metcalf.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love this guy.
Are they picking him?
Bring him back.
Yeah, exactly.
35th
they need him.
In the 2014 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Joe Bitonio, tackle.
Wow, that's a good pick.
There you go.
I swear to God, I thought the Bills might take him.
But at least interior line, I mean, that's what you got to do.
Got to do it. Oh,
you play.
Yeah, it's a
right
good
tackle. Okay.
It's a good play.
This is one of those things where they're going to say, "Listen,
both them for getting linemen. They got their guys. I mean,
Nick, what you were saying though, I mean, as we were echoing it earlier, very deep wide receiver draft. You got to protect the guy. Maybe they can pick up another guy in the later rounds. You got to be able to protect the guys that you have. the guy can open up some holes for you for Ben Tate. He can protect Johnny Football back there. So, very impressive.
I agree. I mean,
go ahead.
No, my son was jumping on my face. I apologize. No, it's if they you guys have that inside track about Gordon. I did not know. I mean, if now coming back in round 3, if this is going to be the case, they got to get him a weapon. I mean, Cameron Jordan can't do it by himself.
That's right.
So,
absolutely.
you guys, in between this next round here, Oakland's coming up. But what do you guys think about Stevie Johnson? I mean, is that how do you guys feel about that? And I'm going with Watkins. They feel that was Johnson's position, or no? Is that something that?
Well, I think the Buffalo
you guys agree
Bills.
with, or they should have kept Johnson. I mean, that was pretty big for Buffalo. He's been here for a while.
Well, I think this is he has been productive. He has had a little bit of inconsistency, but he is a guy who is. This is a financial casualty of the Buffalo Bills, and the reason why that is, he was set to make over $8 million this year, $8 million in 2015, close to $9 million in 2016. You draft Sammy Watkins. This is now the Bills are. There's a couple ways to look at this. You don't have a surefire owner, so the guys in the front office are going to try to prove that they're willing to go and do everything they can for the organization. You go and pick up Sammy Watkins. You haven't had a bona fide number 1 wide receiver on your team in some time. You don't want to go out there in 2014 and put 3 twos out there and 3 number 2 wide receivers and a third. So you pick up Watkins. The rookie wage scale kicks in. Now, going over to 2015, 2016, some of these guys you may have to sign, and you got to realize too, the salary cap just went up $10 million this year and is projected to go up 10 to 12 next year.
Right.
So you're going to have some room to play around in free agency if you need to offer a big-time free agent anything, especially with the unrestricted free agent quarterbacks that are going to be coming out in 2015. So if EJ doesn't pan out.
Right.
So
yeah.
this is
Manning.
strictly business decision for the Bills.
I think a lot of times with Buffalo fans, and I'm don't take this the wrong way, but they really, they love these guys with all their heart. And he's a 7th rounder. I mean, come on, it wasn't like a top 3 pick. I mean,
yeah,
he was good, but come on.
Yeah, but what about all the guys
who?
who?
Keep quiet. We got a pick coming up.
Yep.
Hold that thought. We'll Raiders here. What are they going to go? Come on.
An undrafted
What do you
free
think?
agent in 1963,
Wide receiver.
Hall of Fame
I think they need a receiver
Willie
for
Brown.
sure. Maybe a middle linebacker. Who's out there?
Thank you very much. Let me, before I announce the pick, let me just say congratulations and to all the moms. Happy Mother's Day to all of you moms throughout the world. My mom, she's 99 years old, so hopefully she can make it to October. She'll be 100 years old. So all you mom, thanks. With the 36th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the mighty Oakland Raiders select, I know you love us, Derek Carr, quarterback.
Wow.
Here we go.
I
Rude like this kid.
Wow.
Wow. Rude
Holy
like this kid.
shnikes.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Now, who did Oakland sign in the offseason? They sign
Matt
a
Schaub.
quarterback?
They got Matt Schaub,
right?
Yep.
Okay, so there's some competition. Come on, Schaub wasn't that good, guys. Be honest with yourself.
Maybe this is the launch pad, because his brother came into the league and on an expansion team. He like you said, he had his psyche crushed from getting sacked all the time and not being very productive at the quarterback position. Maybe if a guy's cut from the same cloth, maybe you want to have him sit for a couple of years behind Schaub while you're rebuilding your team, maybe.
I don't think you come out and say that we're going to have you sit. I think they're going to let them compete. Matt Schaub's still got to prove something. I mean, he had a terrible year last year, but Schaub is not a terrible quarterback. He had one bad year. No,
I don't think he's bad at all. I really think he should have stayed in Houston.
Yeah,
he's an average quarterback, guys. He's an average quarterback.
Of course, he's in the NFL. When you've got 32 quarterbacks, he doesn't rank top 10, right? But if you look at his statistics, he's done very well for himself. He's in one of the toughest divisions, running behind Peyton Manning his whole career at Indianapolis. So he had a tough time in his division, trying to get that get into the playoffs when you got Peyton Manning getting there every single year. So, but every year he did really well. I mean, he was right there. They were in second place every single year until Manning left the division, and then they were in first place.
I want to say in 09, I'm not sure. I think it was 09, he led the league in passing yards. So you don't do that being a slouch.
Right. Well, I had him on.
No, I know. I'm not saying that. He's not.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're just throwing out points.
Right.
Yeah,
I had him on my fantasy league, and he did really well in 2012. So.
I think for just sheer argument's sake, I think the sheriff and I will definitely just be saying wide receiver for the rest of the draft, the second round.
Yeah, what is with your guys' wide receiver? Come on.
You know how the league is now.
The league is running back.
Well, what's the under/over on running backs for second round, Coach Nick?
I'm going to say Coach over here has to go with. It's going to be under two.
What's the over/under of kettlebells in your living room right now?
14.
Oh, but actually, the garage over, but the stretching, the foam roller is over too, and a yoga block.
I usually call that a pillow.
Who's your top-rated guy right now, Coach?
Speaking of exercise, I might be doing a Saturday at the park, Mario. I know you're inquiring about my services, so I think we do maybe a group thing. You can come down and check out my style of training, and we'd like to get that. Maybe come out. Josh was inquiring, cousin Josh was. So John always has the invite, and I'm inviting you. I'll set up probably in the next week or two to get it rolling. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
Coach, who do you got rated right now? Who's your top-rated player right now left on the board?
I don't really go on off the board. I like to do with, of course I'm just an amateur following football, but I like to see what team is up and what their needs are, and then based on that, go off that selection of the board instead of saying, well, you got Marquise Lee, a receiver, awesome. Matt Ryan was sacked the most he was in his career last year, so if they don't get either, there you go, Mel's team needs tackle, outside linebacker, defensive end, and they got to replace, an Hall of Famer, Tony Gonzalez. Where do you go? Do you get him a weapon? Do you get him protection? Or do you go on the other side and get some defense that helps? So I would have to say if I was Atlanta up right now, I'd probably go, as boring as it sounds, I'd get Matt Ryan to protection. And after that, I would go defense. And I have to agree with Mel on this one, and then you get him a side on.
All right, I may have to hang up on you because you've agreed with Mel Kiper, but that's all right. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. When the draft goes on, there's only so many picks that Mel can miss on by the time the seventh round rolls around. But,
and they already picked up Jake Matthews in the first round, so they've already made the move to protect their quarterback. So now I think Roddy White's not going to be there next year. I think this is his last year. Wide receiver
you guys say
again.
Receiver, then I'm done with this conversation, right?
I swear to
Marquise Lee.
I swear to you, somebody's got to draft a receiver.
With the tight ends going on, I like Jay Samaro. Marcel Jensen's a nice tall target for him. Troy Nicholas.
Give me what are these schools' positions? Because Multamario over here, you got a nice wealth of knowledge of their not only names, but what's the position so I can be.
No, I was
talking about tight ends.
I was rattling off tight ends of that's still on the board.
Oh, tight ends, yeah.
They could possibly do.
Come on, that's the safety blanket for any quarterback. I would have to say.
And really
tight
quick,
end is the hybrid position. So
yeah, really quick, we like to mention.
I'm done with that.
We like to mention this is #sports. You can find us at #sports.net. The Loop is now in the queue. Loop, how you doing, sir?
Todd.
Thank you, Frank Caliendo.
Yes.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm not Frank Caliendo. I'm doing all right. I'm actually on my way to 800 Maple Restaurant in Williamsville, New York, where my better half, Christopher Joe, will meet me, and we will perform as the CT scan from 9 until midnight. That's Friday night.
You
May
and those
9th.
cheap plugs.
Brought to you by the letter O and the number 3. I'm doing all right. I haven't really paid too much attention to the first few picks. I know they're about 5 picks into it, but I know the Raiders picked up a QB. That's all I know.
They picked up Derek Carr.
Yes.
Yeah.
First, and I'm waiting.
Keeping them in the family.
How
Keeping them in the bay.
many jokes are there? Well, Atlanta's pick is in, and how many jokes do you think is going to be made about the Mack truck and the car going to Oakland?
I think they're already been. I think it's on the
Just had
wire.
one here. All right. So where do they go here?
The third
Receiver.
overall selection in the
We've been saying
1968
receiver
draft by
ever
the
since the
Falcons.
second round started.
2014
One of
Hall
these
Fame inductee,
teams going to draft a
defensive
receiver.
end Claude Humphrey.
Yeah, but they don't induct Charles Haley. What a joke.
With the 37th pick in the 2014 draft, the Atlanta selects Rashid Hagman, defensive tackle from Minnesota.
Wow, there he is.
DT. And before we get to the analysis, the closer is in the queue. Closer, how you doing tonight, sir?
What's going on, gentlemen? I'm calling from the Hashtag Studios corporate office in Lockport, New York. Sorry I'm not with you guys.
True. How's the air conditioning in that place? It was a little hot today.
Yeah, it's a little spicy. I just have to say that I'm still rocking my dress shirt, my tie, and I had to get changed because I threw up all over myself when the Browns drafted Manziel last night. I was just It just makes me sad they're not in the division. You know,
Brought to you by habanero sauce and poor ass tequila.
Well,
That vomit by us.
You know what, Closer? We opened the show. Actually, the sheriff opened the show saying how devastating that pick was that the whole Josh Gordon event happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But it just goes to prove you can't control your franchise all the time. These are young men with millions of dollars, and the reason Gordon wasn't in the NFL draft, why he was in the supplemental draft, was because he's got problems. Phenomenal football player, but, I mean, he didn't play at Baylor for a reason. He was suspended. He got kicked out of the team. That's what happened.
Well, I think Jerry Jones had it right when he hired a bodyguard to walk around with Bryant.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I mean,
wish he could do that with everybody.
Regime change going on in Cleveland. Does this seem very similar to? I hate to say it though, but Devon Bess.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell for anybody? I mean,
you mean Devon Mess?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Devon left.
Oh God.
Oh boy, here we go.
Well, there's no reports yet of Gordon tweeting any kind of controlled substances.
I don't understand why weed is a controlled substance. It's legal in California and Colorado.
Stunned silence by the crew.
I know, and in fact, it adds to your 40. So what's the use? It's not a,
and not only that,
evidently it does
by any means.
Yeah, and not only that, but like Marcel Darius was arrested with not even regular marijuana, with synthetic marijuana.
Right,
so
which you could get on the internet.
He's smoking, right, and he's smoking potpourri. That's all it is.
Exactly what it is.
It's
That's
like
exactly
Hawaiian
right.
Breeze potpourri.
It's like sniffing paint.
It does some stuff to you, fellas. It does some stuff to you through experience.
I didn't know that Marcel Darius hung out. I didn't know he hung out with Kellen Winslow. I wasn't sure. I didn't know those guys hung out.
So who do the Bucks go for
Vaseline?
here?
Was he arrested with a vial of Vaseline too? I missed that.
No,
I didn't see that in the
no
police
Vaseline
report.
contraband was found as of yet.
Yes.
As reports surface, there may be more, but I'm not sure.
Just so the screw into the bong doesn't rust out. Come on, guys, you got to know the science.
That's right.
All right, really.
Along with the pipe cleaner.
Really quick before we get back to the, the Buccaneers are picking very soon. Loop, 45 seconds. Stevie Johnson traded to San Francisco for a conditional 4th-round pick. That could be a 3rd-round pick. Thoughts?
I'll give you 45 hundredths of a second. Good.
Oh. Why do you like this?
Why do I like it? Because some guy named Watkins can play the slot just like him, and get this, he can accelerate, too, after the catch.
I love his silky segue to that. He can accelerate through the catch. All right, closer. Your thoughts on the Stevie Johnson trade?
You ready for my silky segue? You ready for this?
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Why so serious? Why so serious?
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, again, what you did was, if just for Watkins, okay, to ease him into life into the NFL, what's the easiest thing for his skill set? Slot. You drafted him, you handcuffed Stevie, you had to know that he was going to be walking, but kudos to the 49ers because they've done it again. They got Bolding it was a 6th round, but it was essentially a 7th round pick. And the Bills, in all honesty, I'm okay with that return. For a guy who, again, has had inconsistency. He's had groin issues, which never really go away. I'm shocked they got anything above a 5th for him, to be perfectly honest. And again, he's a possession receiver. The Bills are, at this point, going young. And I'm not going to state that Stevie was an issue in the locker room because I think that would be an overstatement of my knowledge of the situation. But I think this is a great opportunity. The Bills have plenty of cap space to make this kind of a move. Yes, you did take a little bit of cap hit, but you take a little bit of cap relief. San Francisco comes out roses because they get a guy on really a sweet deal for them because they're only taking half the salary because half of his salary was salary cap. The other half was, his per year salary base. So San Francisco's making out in this deal, and they get, another wide receiver into the mix. And they've done this before, and they keep on doing better and better. So kudos to San Francisco. And I think the Bills were just looking to try and recover some more picks because, again, they gave up, a 4th to Cleveland in 2015. But I think one of the reasons that pick was included in the Cleveland deal was because the Bills lost Jarius Byrd this offseason, which means in all likelihood they'll probably get a compensatory pick.
Closer, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
The selection's in, and I'll get right back to you in a second.
The Buccaneers, 2014 Hall of Fame inductee, Derek Brooks.
Oh, wow.
I love this guy.
He's the reason why they won that Super Bowl.
With the 38th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Austin Seferian-Jenkins, tight end, Washington.
Wow.
Great pick. That guy is a freak.
Wow.
That guy is a freak.
What?
Total freak.
Wow.
Physically, the best tight end in the draft, without a doubt. Unfortunately, he's Jared Cook. Just a total freak in nature, and he's got to get it together. He has a lot of focus drops. He has a lot of trouble reading defenses, but physically, phenomenal football player.
Built like me.
Yeah, he's built like you. About 7 of you.
I'll hang up.
To piggyback your point, we'll get back to Seferian-Jenkins in a second, though. Closer, I had mentioned a little bit earlier about the compensatory pick. It's not an exact science. We don't really get much information about it, but the Jarius Byrd, depending on what happens and everything, when Byrd was signed, he was the top 3 safety when he was signed. Bills end up losing him. That's where you get the compensatory picks from. And I highlighted that a little bit earlier, and I just sorry to cut you off on that. But
no. I think it's a valid point to bring up because I think it all fits into the puzzle of what's been the NFL draft for this year and next year. Unfortunately, a Bills first-round pick is like gold to other teams because they haven't been in the playoffs in nearly 2 decades. So a first-round pick from the Bills is kind of a big deal for other teams to get. So in my opinion, Sammy Watkins, he's got to be Larry Fitzgerald in order for this trade to make sense for him. He's got to be the second coming of Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and just to give some more numbers really quick to the Buffalo faithful, if the Bills would have kept Stevie Johnson over the length of his contract, let's say he played his contract out to 2016, they would have owed him over $24 million. By trading him now and taking the cut now, they have a $10 million dead money bomb. And Jacksonville's pick is actually right in.
The Jags don't go receiver. I don't know what they're doing.
With the 39th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Marquise Lee.
Oh! There you go. Oh. Finally. This poor guy.
Did he just tilt his...
ask, guys, is Jordan Matthews off the board yet?
No.
Marquise Lee went before Jordan Matthews?
Yes.
Oh, my God. What are you guys doing?
A lot of people had Marquise Lee rated the third best wide receiver behind Mike Evans and Sammy Watkins.
Without Robert Woods, Marquise Lee was a shell of himself last season. He looked lost out there. And when they asked him about why his numbers were basically cut in half, because they statistically were cut in half, he said, I don't know what people are talking about. Look at the film. Well, there's not a lot to look at, Marquise. He didn't do a whole lot. Like, what the hell?
I love that he said I would, you mentioned it earlier. What did he say? He wouldn't mind playing for the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he goes to the Jags. Does he think he's the next Keyshawn Johnson or something? Am I missing something here?
I think he's the next Ted Ginn. That's what I'm thinking.
Next Ted
Ginn.
Guys,
my apologies about the GPS talking. I don't know if that caught on the phone.
Oh, yeah, you're good, Luke. We just had a little bit of static in the background. So you're golden. You're golden. But yeah, I don't like I don't like this pick going before. I'm not a fan of this pick.
So who are the Buffalo Bills going to draft next? What's the position there? I mean, you do have some good offensive tackles left on the board.
Well, the Seahawks have done it again. The Seahawks traded back. Now they traded their pick to the Lions.
To Detroit.
Yeah, so Detroit now. And the pick's already in. So we'll see what happens. Marquise Lee doesn't even have his Jacksonville Jaguars hat on yet, and the pick is in.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, we're not going to highlight you for a while now, Marquise.
Things are moving along now.
We'll fly you down. You can take the same plane as Bortles.
Yeah. Marquise Lee's career is officially over.
Oh, my God.
It started. Now it's over.
All right. Hope you take a selfie. You'll be fine. Who's So
why does Detroit?
Who's the extra from Showgirls that was announcing the pick? I didn't even know who that guy was. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sheriff.
No, I mean, why does Detroit trade to this position? Are they afraid that Buffalo's going to pick a position here that they want, a player that they want? What specifically do they want with this pick? Who are they trying to get in front of?
Well,
it might not necessarily be the Bills. I mean, you look at when I think Detroit, I think common need is still Chicago.
Right.
So I think they might just be trying to jump other teams in in the division. I don't think it has anything to do with the Bills.
Right. Well, what does it say more about the Seahawks, though? Being willing to trade back? Is it because of their recent signings that they're, maybe they're a little hesitant to take some high second-round picks, and they want to get some, maybe fill up with some third-rounders, so they don't have to pay them as much, and they can stay underneath the cap?
And they don't really need much. I mean, they've got a great nucleus of players, tough players, and giving the right players the right kind of money to stay. Russell Wilson's going to have a new contract next year. They're going to. I mean, he's probably going to be one of the highest paid players in the league, and deservedly so. I mean, I
think
in the league.
I don't think they can do league and have that team still stay together. He'll get paid handsomely, but not like Joe Flacco.
You don't think he'll get paid $120 million?
I don't think he can. Number one, number two, I don't think he'd want to, because he'd want to keep the team around him as well.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, he's not in there making the deal. It's his boy, the guys he hires. To go in there and make the deal.
True.
Now he can tell him, hey, look, don't break the bank. But at the end of the day, most players just stay out of it and stay out of the business end and just kind of do what they're told.
Well, speaking of Russell Wilson, I just want to divert a little bit, and I'll ask a question of both of Loop and the closer. I'll start with you, closer. Do you think that, because I know you listen and you read the papers and things are going on. Everyone, as we have highlighted, are pulling the plug on E.J. Manuel. Do you think that this is a direct result of Andrew Luck and RG3's rookie season and the recent Super Bowl title of Russell Wilson? And that's why everyone said, oh, well, if you don't win the Super Bowl in your first 2-3 years, then you're just a bust, get somebody else in there. What do you think the reasoning is for that?
I think it's unfair to judge E.J. Manuel with as inconsistent as he was physically able to play and with an offensive coordinator who really was learning the league. I think it's unfair to judge him. Did I see things from E.J. Manuel that made me comfortable? Absolutely not. I was not comfortable all season with the way that he went about his business out on the field, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But I think it's unfair to judge him based on a rookie coordinator and the fact that ultimately he really was only able to play for several weeks at a time and then forced physically to sit out. As far as the RG3 and the Andrew Luck and the Russell Wilson coming, I absolutely agree with you. 5-6 years ago, you drafted quarterbacks and you developed them. That's what you did. Even if it was a first-round quarterback, first overall quarterback, you still were expected to develop them. You were still expected to not be good for some time. And I think that the win quicker, better, faster has come to the NFL, and I just don't think that it's very appropriate because not every person is RG3 or Andrew Luck or Russell Wilson specifically.
Yeah, and I'll kick it right over to you, Lou. There used to be a time where you used to take a quarterback and develop these guys. You didn't pull the plug on him after he didn't even play a full season. Let this kid play a full season. He's got weapons now.
Yeah, but
he's got some protection.
Yeah, but what you're seeing now is quarterbacks are being developed in high school. Like they've got trainers coming in high school, and they're showing up and announcing the college that they're going to on national television. You never saw that either. So they're developing a lot quicker. It looks like the pick's in, so why don't we go there?
Come back to you, Loop, after the pick.
The Seattle Seahawks have traded the 40th pick to the Detroit Lions. To announce the Detroit Lions selection, please welcome from the University of Virginia, the 10th overall pick of the 1991 draft by the Lions, wide receiver Herman Moore.
With the 40th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Kyle Van Noy, linebacker, BYU.
All right, always nice to see what Herman Moore is up to, and Kyle Van Noy.
All right.
Always risky taking BYU linebackers. Let me just throw that out there. Always risky taking BYU linebackers.
And why is that?
Name me a BYU linebacker what's the first BYU linebacker comes to your mind?
I can't even.
No, I can't either.
Probably can name about 99% of them that have been on missions. That was too soon.
No.
Yeah. No. But that's there, and that's my point. They're just BYU's never really been a dependable school for high caliber NFL players. That's all. That's just all. That's all there is to it.
Didn't Jim McMahon and Steve Young go there?
Yeah.
You can, yeah, but Fred Jackson went to Coe College. So what? Randy Moss went to Marshall. We could talk about this all day. I'm just saying that BYU typically is not. It's kind of a stretch.
Okay, I like the position though. I like the fact that they went out and got a linebacker.
Yeah,
I like the position pickup. Like I said, some of these names that we don't hear, or some of these names are like, who's that? They're taken for a reason. So hopefully the scouting departments of these places are doing their homework.
This guy, he's had some off the field issues, but he seemed, BYU has a very strict program. I mean, they were very close to pulling his scholarship, but he went through a year where he followed a certain kind of BYU code, and he went through it. I mean, this looks like a good pick. I mean, the guy's got the size, the speed, the strength.
All right, if I could just backtrack a little bit, I wanted to get Loop's take on the development of E.J. Manuel. But right before that, it looks like the St. Louis Rams have traded into the Buffalo Bills' second pick. And the Rams have the 9th pick now, the 41st pick overall, and the Bills slid down to 44. So there'll be 3 spots after that when the Bills will go. So, maybe a little this, maybe a little that. You're like, hey, we traded back with you last year. You feel like doing this year? I don't know. I don't think that's the reason.
But here's the thing. They've got to make up some of these draft picks, right? So maybe they don't get a first rounder for next year, but maybe they fill in, a third and a fourth. And those are key picks. I mean, a lot of people look how many great quarterbacks are in the league right now that were second rounders. Kaepernick was one of them. Russell Wilson was a third rounder. Drew Brees was a second rounder. Quarterbacks or great players aren't just picked up in the first round anymore. And even in the history of the NFL, if you look at the first round, you couldn't name out of the 32 players picked in the first round, you couldn't name 20 players. I mean, they all kind of go into the world of oblivion after a few years because they just don't seem to matter. Players are developed.
Do you think this is Derek? Do you think this is Derek Carr in this spot? Do you think they're moving up for a QB?
Derek Carr's already off the board.
Oh,
yeah, he's a Raider.
He's a Raider. Yeah, and you know what?
Go figure.
Yeah, right. No, St. Louis, I think right here, I still think they need a number 1 receiver. I've been saying a lot of these teams need receivers, and there's a lot of receivers very deep this year, and there's still some great players available. It's just I don't understand what they would be doing here. I really don't. In St. Louis, why they would be trading to this position?
I'm not sure the teams that they're trying to get. I think they're trying to get a specific. Obviously, they're trying to get a specific player here. But just to backtrack, Buffalo gave St. Louis their 41st pick in exchange for the 44th. In round 2 and their 5th round pick, 153rd overall. So the Buffalo Bills will be picking, I believe it's 149 and 153 in the 5th round. So essentially they picked
Andrew Jackson, baby. Andrew Jackson.
So essentially they picked up the pick they gave away and even a better pick for Mike Williams and only slid down 3 spots. So unless the Eagles and Giants take someone that they really, really wanted, you got Mike Williams for free.
Right.
According to this draft. You know what I mean? So, kudos to the Bills for making this, depending on who gets picked. And now, I know that it's not going to happen. It would be awesome if it did. But if the Giants select Joe Don Duncan, I think the closers are going to start crying. Because he doesn't want him to be selected before him. The pick is in for St. Louis. We're gonna have that in a second. But yeah, I like the move. Now they have 6 picks remaining. They started the draft with 6 picks.
Doug Whaley's. I'm becoming a big Doug Whaley fan. Really quickly. I think last year picking E.J. Manuel, watching him play, he played like a rookie. There are some. Looks like the pick's in. Let's go to that.
You gotta love his defense because the defensive front end and the back end, if they can improve it, would be one heck of a unit.
St. Louis is scary.
Who's that, Turtle?
Please welcome from the University of Florida, selected by the Rams as the 6th overall pick in the 1995 draft, defensive end Kevin Carter.
Jets fans are
joining me to make the announcement for the St. Louis Rams. Selection is the Bud Light NFL Fan Draft Experience winner, Jordan Schwartz from Buffalo, New York.
Yes.
Woo! Jordan! I have no idea who you are, man.
May the Schwartz be with you.
The 41st pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the St. Louis Rams select LaMarcus Joyner, defensive back, Florida State.
I like it.
All right,
hey,
that's a Fisher move.
This shows you the improvisation of
Jeff. Sure.
Wait, no. This is the improvisation of the NFL draft. They thought the Bills were picking 41st. So why not have a hometown guy announce the Bills pick at 41? Why not let them wait 3 picks?
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right.
You couldn't tell that?
TV time, baby. Maybe the TV time had it lined up and said, do it anyway.
This is our TV time.
Miller, that's right. It was a Miller draft pick, wasn't it? They paid for that
yes,
slot.
It was Miller. Brought to you by.
Isn't Reed supposed to announce one of these picks today? Is that probably why? I have no idea. Anyway, all right, Loop. Going back to EJ.
Yeah.
Why do you think the? Is it because of these quarterbacks that the rope is very short?
Man, I don't think so. I just think we've been jaded so long over the years with 800 starting quarterbacks since Jim Kelly that we're just already prepared to fail as fans of the area. I don't think his leash is as short as they think, or we think, or the general population thinks. I think they're going to give him full time to develop and just let it run its course. You know, I don't know. I mean, they gave Fitzpatrick and let it run 3/4 of its course. Maybe they'll get it down right this time and see what a real quarterback can turn out to be, if he's a real quarterback.
All right.
I really don't have much to say about it because it's such a tired topic, you know?
All right, Luke, let me ask you this then.
All I can come up with.
Let me ask you this before the next pick comes in. I want to ask actually the whole panel this. We brought it up earlier. The trade up for Sammy Watkins. I want a percentage A, they did it to improve the team, to try to make the team more competitive next year, or it was a move by the front office to say to any owner, hey, we're willing to do what it takes to be a winner here. What percentage do you think of each? I'm just throwing it out there. It may not be, either case.
Can it be both?
Or could it be? I mean, but what percentage would you put it at?
I think it's all of it. I think it's all of it. I think it will start with A. If you're wired to be competitive, I would go with A with 100%. I mean, and then B will follow suit when it happens. So I'm sticking with A.
Do you think B affected A?
No.
Or influenced
What's
A?
that?
Do you think that B influenced A? Maybe more than it would have?
No, I think they were planning to make a splash. I mean, they've been burnt so many times at number 9. Why would you want to try it again, you know?
True.
I think it was a move. They claimed they planned to do it on the day off, but as soon as they saw I'm sure they said if we see Watkins sitting there and, Cleveland's not going with Manziel, why not trade for that 4 spot? So.
All right, and before I kick it to the other 2 members of the panel, the Eagles have traded up with the Titans, the 42nd pick in the 2014 NFL Draft. The Eagles select Jordan Matthews, wide receiver, Vanderbilt.
Wow.
No.
Finally.
No.
Behind Mikey's
Why?
Whoa, it looks like you're not the only one upset in that room.
Chip Kelly somewhere in his chemistry room,
this is a cousin of
like
Jerry
a mad
Rice.
Scientist right now.
Yes,
this is Jerry Rice's cousin here. I mean, I'd like the pedigree. Why don't you like that pick?
No, he doesn't like where it went. He loves the pick. He just doesn't like where it went.
You're talking about the Philly.
Nick Foles is his quarterback. I'm not liking this. If I had to pick 5 teams that I didn't want Jordan Matthews to go, Philadelphia would have been one of them. Honestly, I can't stand the Eagles. I can't stand them.
I'm with you. I can't stand them either. But I mean, I do like Chip Kelly. I like Nick Foles and what they've done and the chemistry they've built together. After a while, I mean, once you get tape on a quarterback, you're really going to see how good a quarterback is. I think the sophomore year for Nick Foles is going to be it'll either expose what kind of quarterback he is. It'll either say, hey, you're the real deal or you're not. But I think this system works really, really well for Nick Foles. And if he can continue to not turn the ball over, Philly's going to win the division again. And I think this time with home field advantage, they're going to go deep into the playoffs. And this one helps. And you knew they were going wide receiver. I mean, he lost the number 1, right?
Yeah, they lost.
Jeez.
Yeah, they lost. But I mean, I like the pick for the sake of the offense that he wants to run. I think it's going to get figured out, though, unfortunately. And I don't think Nick Foles is a 22-3 guy. touchdowns to interceptions. I think he's more of, on a very good year, 25 and 16. I think that's what he's going to do.
What makes you think that, though? I mean, there's
Just
nothing in the way that I saw that it tells me he's an average quarterback. He's very accurate.
You have
he's smart with the ball.
You have one of the top 2 running backs in the league. You had one of the top deep threats in the league.
It's a great system. Looks like we got the pick here.
Yeah, the pick is in for the Giants.
To announce the New York Giants selection,
Harry!
Please welcome from South Carolina State University, a 4th-round pick in the 1976 draft by the Giants, Hall of Fame linebacker Harry Carson.
He was 4th round.
Thank you.
He's picking a defenseman here.
Thank you. With the 43rd pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Weston Richburg, center, Colorado State.
Wow. Offense again.
They needed line. We talked about it yesterday.
Yes,
the Giants are super short on line help.
You're absolutely right.
To backtrack a little bit to Chip Kelly's offense, Closer, why don't you fill us in with your analysis of good old Chip Kelly?
Well, first off, as far as Nick Foles goes, when Nick Foles learns to finish off a throw, and like if you go back and watch him, everything he does is off his back foot. He did it when he came in for spot duty his rookie year. This was his sophomore year, technically, and he was incredibly accurate. He did a lot of damage in a short period of time, and then there were games that he was a total ghost. So I believe Chip Kelly's offense is a system, and I don't think it's a system that's going to last very long. People talked about the fast pace of it. LaShawn McCoy is the heartbeat of that offense. The moment that he's gone is the moment that Chip Kelly's without a job.
Well, I think that's true to be said about any quarterback coach combination, right? The coaches die by their quarterback. So if Nick Foles is Chip Kelly's guy, he's either going to live or die, and depending on how he does, the system's going to go too. That being said, you've got Nick Saban in college trying to get rid of this system in college.
Oh, boy. Sorry. We got the Bills pick is in, and Andre is rocking a Buffalo Bills vest.
Love it.
To announce the Buffalo Bills selection, please welcome from Kutztown University, selected in the 4th round in 1985 by the Bills.
4th round again.
2014 Hall of Fame inductee, wide receiver Andre Reed.
Andre.
Hall of Famer.
With the 44th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Cyrus Quandra.
Love it.
Tackle, Alabama.
Yes. This guy's huge.
Oh.
This guy's a beast from out of Alabama.
Cyrus Quandra.
He's huge.
Get
6'7", 322. How are his feet? That's what you want out of an offensive lineman. How quick are his feet?
2 words. Roll Tide.
That's right. McCarron wasn't touched.
This guy can block for any. This guy could block for any running back, any quarterback. They're showing him at left tackle. Oh God, Closer. Yeah. What do you think of this pick?
Well, it's not Xavier Su'a-Filo, but I guess I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
You heard about Su'a-Filo going, right?
This is a guy, Cyrus is a guy who's got the size and really ultimately the agility as well, because he is an underrated pass blocker. He's got the agility to go anywhere on the line. You can put him at right tackle because he's gigantic. You can leave him at left tackle, but I think that's probably a little bit past him at this point. Or you can move him into guard, and I think he's going to do a great job for you there too, because he is a bull in the run game.
I'm reading his weaknesses here. Here's what the NFL.com has to say. Has heavy legs and lacks ideal foot quickness for blindside protection. The first thing I look at in a offensive lineman is got to be the footwork. I think that's very, very important, especially for a guy who's protecting your blind side. Now, I'm assuming that they're going to move into the right side. That being said, he's going to have to work on that, right? I mean, footwork for an offensive lineman is key. We all remember Gallery as a tackle with Oakland. Got moved to guard because his feet just weren't quick enough for those defensive end guys, and especially for the quick ones. I think they moved this guy to right. He's huge. He's got great arm length. He's just a big guy. 6'7", 322 pounds. And I'm sure he can fluctuate. I'm sure that's, he weighed in, a few days after not eating, as they like to drop the weight to show that they're in shape. So this guy can probably pack on the pounds.
I love this pick because you can't have too much depth on your line.
I like this pick too.
Let's go. Let's kick it back to good old Nick. Nick, what do you think of this Cyrus Kouandjio, offensive tackle, possibly moving to right tackle for maybe Eric Pierce? You don't know, but what do you think about it?
I think they got to protect them. I mean, they got their Watkins. I think protecting EJ is huge. I believe their next pick. I think they should grab a tight end. I mean, they need a hybrid tight end. I don't know what you guys think about that, but they need. I mean, Chandler's he's okay at best, and I think if they get a hybrid tight end to get Watkins some help with the other two kids from last year, I think they'll have quite the arsenal. And then, to be honest, they got to get another running back. I know it's a little early, but Freddie's he's not the youngest, and to be honest,
Yeah, but I think we talked about this yesterday, Nick, about the running back position. And the running back position is no longer an important commodity in the NFL. Those are guys that you just bring in, you run up the miles, and you just throw them away. So as far as the running back position, you're not going to find guys like C.J. Spiller and Peterson, AP. Those are the guys that will go in the first round. But the rest of them, you can pick up in the third and fourth rounders. I think you're absolutely right with tight end. I think that's the next pick that comes off the board. And the rest of the tight ends that are available out there, the grades that they've given them on NFL.com, they all seem to be very, very close to one another. So whether you get them in the second, third, fourth, fifth rounds, they all seem to be just kind of the same guy, that you're picking. So, but I definitely agree with you. I think you continue to go offense. You put players around your quarterback. You protect them.
And are they good at safety? How are we doing it? I mean, I know they lost Bird. He was their.
You got Meeks and Williams from last year there. I was going to say that the Bills maybe later in this draft, coming into it, would take a wide receiver late, maybe fifth or seventh round, but they drafted two last year and they draft one this year.
Yeah.
They drafted two safeties last year. Maybe they may draft another one this year. Who knows?
Right.
So the book is still out on that. I like the fact that
I think they'll be fine.
I am shocked. Well, you guys are talking about the running back. I'm shocked that we're 45 picks in and not a running back has been taken.
I'm not.
To be honest, I am too. You aren't? I mean,
I'm not shocked.
It is not a marketable position anymore. It just seems like it's just a different type of offense.
Then why don't teams run five wide all the time then?
Exactly. You're not going to get who you need. You need a guy like with Sproles. Shift run. You need a guy like that. You need a guy like Sproles. You need a guy who's. How many durable running backs are there now? Not many. 1, 2, 3.
A handful. And that's always been the case.
Definitely not. And you need running backs and you need defensive backs because they get injured a lot too. So it's I don't know. You're right. 45 picks in. I definitely thought one of the teams would say, you know what, we're going to take. I like the kid from Auburn. I mean, he was a workhorse. That kid. You get 2-3 years out of him, and then
Trey Mason.
Yeah, he ran behind Robinson every time.
Wow, look at this! A tweet from C.J. Spiller. For people who don't think running backs are important anymore, I couldn't see the rest of it. Somebody go to Spiller and somebody send me that tweet right now.
Let me read it to you.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll tell you exactly.
All right, yeah, but to me, you got Spiller. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
We lost you, Nick?
Nope, I lost it.
For people to think running backs are not important in today's games are insane. I'm looking forward to start seeing some running backs come off the board.
For the Bears?
The board.
All right. Maybe Seattle will pick now.
Hey.
I mean, they traded back twice already. So maybe they'll take a pick.
And here's the thing. CJ's got durability issues. Maybe the Bills do draft a running back next round.
And did you guys come across? And I was listening when I was on hold. Now Buffalo has another pick this round, or is it next
Fifth round?
Fifth round.
They got another 5th round pick. Seattle's pick is in.
From Florida State University, the 6th overall pick of the 1997 draft by the Seahawks, 2014 Hall of Fame inductee, tackle Walter Jones.
Walter!
Thank you. With the 45th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Paul Richardson, wide receiver, Colorado.
So they went for the anti-beef.
6 foot, $175.
Again, we
kid.
said that the Seahawks needed a wide receiver, right? They got rid of Golden Tate.
This guy looks like a small forward. Oh man.
Yeah, out of Colorado, right? 6'0", 175 pounds. He's tiny.
Yeah, closer.
175 pounds.
Closer. Backtracking a little bit from the previous discussion, we were talking about the running backs, and then CJ Spiller had a tweet. He just sent a tweet out. He goes, "For people that don't think the running back position is important anymore, hopefully some of them will start coming off the board."
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about going this long in the draft, 45 picks in, and we still haven't seen a running back come off the board?
Well, I think that tweet speaks to the Clemson education, doesn't it?
Boom.
Well, no, again, it's the NFL.
You know Sammy Watkins is from
that-
Clemson, right? Like, you just busted on 2 Buffalo Bills players. And
It doesn't matter. The Wonderlic does not matter to running backs. Frank Gore is like a 9.
That's right.
Or a 6 or something. It doesn't matter if you're a running back or if the quarterback's Wonderlic's high. That's what I care about. I don't care about anybody else's.
I think it speaks more to the 140 characters that Twitter allows you to have.
All right, I'm sorry.
Let's give CJ a break here.
All right, close. Go ahead.
Well, for the record, not to just so you all know, Aaron Maben got a 25 in the Wonderlic. So I just want you to think about that.
Was it Maven
one
a
for
Penn
minute.
State guy?
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We don't like to talk about it.
So,
No, I don't like Maven.
No, it's the running back position. It is getting phased out. You see that teams are going by committee for a variety of reasons. 1, injury. 2, you can run more variety of plays. The more running backs you have, you teach them 5, 6 plays, and you have 3 of them. You can run 15 different plays in your offense to keep it simple.
All right. Looks like
Steelers picks in.
Did they get a tight end out of Notre Dame?
With the 46th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Stephon Tuitt, Notre Dame defensive end.
Well, what a surprise. In the first round, the Steelers went with a linebacker, and there's the reaction.
There you go.
Congratulations, buddy.
That's great. That's great.
I love seeing that, though. They flashed
Me
a
too.
shot of the kid, and he's in tears now, drafted 46th by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, God bless you, buddy. Good luck. 6'5", 304 junior from Notre Dame. Oh, man.
I always get weirded out by guys
Pittsburgh
crying.
Steeler all day.
I really do. I don't know, I like the guy who's smiling, laughing, and happy, and it's a happy day. Now, when you cry, it just makes me feel like you can't control your emotions.
I get weirded out by defensive tackles that wear number 3. And you see the jersey, hi.
Yeah.
Hey, this doesn't fit. It's
With
like
the
actually,
belly button
it's a
sticking
napkin right now on me. Thanks. But no, I like seeing
Went
that
to Notre
emotion.
Dame, John. He's educated. He's obviously a sharp kid. He went to Notre Dame, so for him to be a little emotional doesn't mean make him a bad guy, does it? Wow.
I'm not saying it makes him a bad guy. I'm just saying it makes him a guy who can't control his emotions. Be a man.
He was calling him
Be
soft.
a man. Give him a smack.
He was calling him soft, basically.
Maybe
He's 6'5", 300 something. He's soft.
That's
What
right.
do you think about that closer? He just called that man soft. That was a little rough.
Well, what's his degree at Notre Dame?
Oh, here we go.
He's
Here
a
we
junior,
go,
right? So
here we go.
here's a graphic design, because I hear that's real popular for football players at Notre Dame.
Health and wellness.
Did we ever find out what Manziel's major was?
Yes, it was. I just
Sports
heard.
management.
It wasn't
Sports
communications. I know that.
Oh my god! It was like sports something. It was sports management.
Oh, we got
boats and hose.
Boats and hose. Good old Johnny Football. I don't know if you guys seen that Vine that's out there of Johnny Football, but it's probably one of the funniest. It's up on. If you go to Twitter, you go at #Sports. It's on there. I retweeted it from buckbuck.com or at buckbucksports. Fantastic. Hey, London, good to see you. London Fletcher is now announcing
Buffalo.
London.
I think it's London.
I love London Fletcher as a leader, but the guy would get dragged 2 to 3 yards after touch.
The
yards after touch, it probably had the worst in the NFL.
Wow. The Washington Redskins have selected Trent Murphy, outside linebacker out of Stanford.
Monster.
Now I will pause for a closer to make a comment about Stanford linebackers.
Yeah, come on, Coles. What do you say about this kid? Come on.
I don't have to say. The great thing is I don't have to say anything at all.
This guy, look at, come on.
So who is this guy out of Stanford?
He runs a 4-week 40, and did you see that run that they just had? Wow. All right. No, you like him going outside linebacker here, closer?
Yeah. Washington has always been a defensive-minded team. I mean, defense first, and they're smash-mouth football. RG3 came out, and it was run right, run left, and everything was run out of the pistol. They found out that he was fragile and he needed to be more of a pocket receiver, or rather than a pocket receiver, he just needed to look down the field more often and throw the ball rather than try to make yardage out of it with his legs. So you go back, they've got great running backs in Alfred. Great, and I think RG3, the book's still out on him. We don't know what he's going to turn out to be. I like him. He's just got to be a better pocket quarterback. Otherwise, he's just going to be like Michael Vick, just always on the injured reserve list. But yeah, outside linebacker for that's in the weakest division of the NFL, in my opinion.
The NFC least.
Yeah, the NFC least. So yeah, it's not a bad pick. I don't know who Trent Murphy is. I haven't studied enough on him. I'm looking at it right now, and 6'5", almost 34-inch length arms, 250 pounds. He's your prototypical linebacker. Really big, actually, really tall for a linebacker. But as far as weakness, it says very average weight room strength, underdeveloped upper body, can be folded and neutralized by down blocks against more physical blockers. See Notre Dame.
Wow.
Yeah, so to me that just says, from a linebacker standpoint of view, I mean, you want your guy to be able to hit full force against a running back and be able to stop him in his tracks. If this guy can be folded, like a lawn chair, it just doesn't make any sense to me to pick this guy. But like I said, I'm only getting a little bit of this. You're reading about these players. You see very little when it comes down to the second and third rounds. So you get what you get. I didn't talk to this guy. I didn't interview him. So I don't know what he's like, And most of these guys that they talk about like this, a lot of players will take this information and use it as the fuel to get better, to work on their weaknesses. Mm-hmm. So maybe you see a guy like this go, okay, well, I got to work out in the gym. I got to strengthen up. He's still young. He can still bulk up. He's got the frame. And, I'm sure with the right coaching in Washington, he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. And, just recently, the Ravens took Timmy Jernigan, defensive tackle out of Florida State, and now their first 2 picks are Mosley and Jernigan. So you know where their mindset is going into 2014 as far as the Ravens are concerned. They're trying to build up that defense once again. And the Jets are currently on the clock. Ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to let you know this is #Sports. find us at #sports.net. We got about 5 minutes left of the show. You know, the last couple days, we're going to be having more of these YouTube videos for you. And, you know, right here in #Studios. It's been a fun ride the last 2 days, though, especially for our special draft episodes. We're going to be here every Friday for a quick draw with the Sheriff.
Buck.
Sponsored by BuckBuck.com. With 5 minutes left, Nick, quick minute. Your recap on the draft so far in the first round and a half, let's just say.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for letting me just come rolling in on the show here. I usually not available during the week, so I can't thank #Sports and BuckBuck. Thank you, gentlemen, for letting me come in and put my 1 cent, you know, my penny for your thoughts over here. So I just want to thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Beautiful.
And it's typical. I was watching Colin this morning when John and I were working out, and the ratings got an 8. Between ESPN and NFL network, it's you're getting an 8 rating. I mean, this is fun. It's cool to watch. It keeps you home. It keeps your business going. It's a good way to keep in touch with what's going on in the NFL, because we don't see a lot of these kids out in the Pac-12. Obviously, the SEC is dominating again, but it's just really nice that you guys had me on, and that I can chip in and really follow up with some interesting things and keep in line with the Shield here. It's good to stay ahead of the curve over here. So
cool.
Again, thank you. And
thanks, Coach.
Just might as well. It's typical Buffalo. I'm not a Buffalo fan, but I think I might jump on board this year.
All right, thanks, Coach.
We'll keep room on the bandwagon for you. Thanks, Nick. Take care.
Okay.
That's Nick joining the coach. Coach joining us after you had a nice little weight room session with him today.
He's great, man. Yeah. I've been working out with him for a few years, and I'm telling you, best shape of my life. As you get older, you got to work on the joint mobility, core, and all that stuff. And if I can get my diet right, if I can take out all the cake and ice cream out of my diet, I'd be in phenomenal shape. I'm a walking billboard, I know, for you, Coach, and I want to apologize for the midsection, but everything else is I've got a retard strength, man. I mean, I can move heavy machinery, like Superman. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to that time. We covered the first round. We covered the second round. Join us on #Sports this Monday, May 12th, I believe it is.
Yep.
For the complete recap of the NFL draft. And we'll also have a very special guest, Nick Cormanios, former professional hockey player, to come talk with us a little bit about hockey that's going on, because playoffs are going on still. Even though we're all NFL right now, that's the playoffs are going on.
Yeah, NBA too.
And yes, NBA. And then we will also have a show on Wednesday. And then we will be back here next Friday for Quick Draw with the Sheriff.
That's right. We may do a pre-recorded show for Friday. I know some of the guests that I want to have on. We're trying to maybe get it on in Tuesday, but we'll have it available throughout the whole week. So we may move our Friday show. We'll let you guys know. You can catch us at Twitter at BuckBuckSports. You can also catch us at BuckBuck.com. Go on there. Find out what a BuckBuck is. Just click to enter. Win an iPad Air. And if you tune in next week, we are going to have a handicapper, another handicapper on who's got an algorithm that he's developed and read his bio. Looks great. Can't wait to have him on. Can't wait to interview him. We'll have all that information up on BuckBuck Sports on Twitter, at BuckBuck Sports. Thank you.
Fantastic. For the loop and the closer, thank you, Nick. For the Sheriff, I am the game. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.
Buck.